admit, I was wrong about this game. I got to play this game early before it got released, and as you can tell, I was not all that enthusiastic about this game despite Final Fantasy VII being my favorite game of all time. For one, I'm not really a mobile gamer, nor am I a big fan of gacha games, but on the plus side, the game is coming to Steam. However, playing this after release, I gotta say the direction makes sense. So now, here are my honest thoughts. So why do I say this makes sense as a gacha mobile game? For one, the game constantly updates, like you'll be asked to update the app a lot. While I do think it's dumb Diablo 3 had to be online despite being single player, I think this game, I would say, needs it because it looks to me that Square Enix aims to make this an app that keeps adding on because, as you probably know, this is to cover Final Fantasy VII as well as the expanded compilation, and as of right now, it covers only a part of the original Final Fantasy VII. Real quick though, it is covering the original PS1 game, not the remake, as there are no whispers, new characters, so forth. The first hour or so of Crisis Core, but more will be coming, and First Soldier with new characters, an original story, and a younger Sephiroth. I would not take this app over the original Final Fantasy VII or Crisis Core, but it does put First Soldier to better use. I say that because First Soldier did not do so well. It actually shut down earlier this year, and this was the most positive thing most people had to say about it.
I mean, it's alright, like...
I may not play battle royales much, but I can tell controls being just right is important, and the controls weren't very good. Here, the controls are kept simple, which is why I actually don't mind the touchscreen controls, and I'm most of the time not a fan of them. The game is mostly tapping buttons on the screen, and when you're in the field exploring, the direction your character goes responds to the movement of your thumb just right. In case you're wondering if I'm going to talk about this version's story of First Soldier, I'm going to wait a bit as I have plenty to say about the gameplay. So let's talk about this game's combat system. It has an ATB system. You see this blue meter? That is your ATB gauge, which fills up with time, and notice how it's divided into separate bars and the commands right below them. They have the amount of bars that you need to execute, and once the gauge fills up enough, that is when you can use that particular one. Now look to the right where these diamonds are. Red is for playing offense and blue is for defense. You will want to switch to blue when you see this orange symbol right next to the name of the monster you're fighting, as that is counting down to a powerful attack. I also go in this stance to heal myself, as healing spells are more effective. When playing on the offensive, you'll want to swap to red as your attack power increases. There are also times where sigils will appear above the enemy. You'll want to use attacks that will destroy that sigil, and once that sigil is destroyed, the enemy's attack will be interrupted and he'll be stunned for a bit. One thing I really hated about the remake is there is an interruption mechanic that is not explained. You would do an attack, but then an enemy would come in and attack, canceling your attack with no refund of your ATB gauge. But here, I can say it's done right. If Square carries this mechanic over from Remake to Rebirth, they need to explain it in a tutorial, have visual communications that an attack is going to interrupt, or drop it completely. That is basically this game's Combat 101. It actually reminds me of Final Fantasy XIII's combat, but it's more engaging here because in 13, I found myself mashing the button on auto battle for most of the game. But here, I have all my commands lined up and just have to tap the command I want in a combat system that is fast paced like 13. It gets more complex as you keep playing because the gacha side of this game has you draw weapons and you can earn materials to improve your equipment or materia, but they are available for sale. I normally hate microtransactions, but because this is free to play, I won't complain too much. One thing I actually wish was in the remake and would like to be in Rebirth is the characters have different outfits. It was something I wanted ever since I saw this picture, so the game worked out pretty well as a gacha game. I do have some issues to point out though. This game has sporadic difficulty spikes. For example, you have to play the first chapter or so of Final Fantasy VII to unlock Crisis Core and then basically get all caught up on the story so far as the timing of this upload to unlock First Soldier. Final Fantasy VII is not that hard until Rito. Ugh. But then Crisis Core gave me trouble. Then with First Soldier, it was kind of easy until this boss fight with a Gallant Blah, I don't know. But somehow, I managed to go to the next chapter without beating him. I don't know if that's a glitch or what, but I am not going to complain. But when I was having trouble with him, I decided to continue the Final Fantasy VII story as the game levels up other characters you're not using, which is greatly appreciated. I did not get too annoyed, but I definitely had to grind during a seasonal event or side quests that offer XP or materials to strengthen weapons or materia. I would proceed through the stories pretty smoothly, but then hit a brick wall, so progression has been a little slow at points for my liking. Did I say I did not get too annoyed? That is true for the most part, but the fight with Reno right before the Sector 7 plate falls, ugh, I hate this boss fight. I went the free-to-play route when playing this game, but I got so sick of dealing with him that I ended up shelling out a few real-world dollars for gears and materials to strengthen my weapons, and even I find it hard to say it was enough to beat him. He's the one boss fight I would say is cheap. Some of his attacks stun you, and it even happens when I get this close to beating him, but no, stunning stops me from attacking, and he beats me anyway. Ugh, I hated that. Also, while Cloud is doing his animation for this water attack, Reno comes in and knocks him out before Cloud could even land a blow. Square Enix, this is my biggest pet peeve when I play Kingdom Hearts. The button to heal would trigger a 1 or 2 second animation before the healing spell takes effect, which is really annoying because the enemy sometimes attacks during the animation and knocks me out. It may be really annoying in Kingdom Hearts, but it was aggravating in this fight with Reno as it's not just healing spells, it's my commands in general. Another thing I did not like was I would do a command, for example. I would be Barrett right here, casting Cure just mere milliseconds before Reno does his flash strike, and because it did not work instantaneously, the game paused my actions to let Reno knock Barrett out. And no, the healing spell did not take effect. Final Fantasy XVI did this right. What's this game's excuse? I finally did beat him, but it still took a bit of luck, even when my power levels were small enough comparable to what is recommended. But other than that, the combat is good. It just needs those issues addressed, and hopefully in the future, Square will scale back some of the grinding. The game's graphics are really good, and so is the music. I do like how the chibi models pay respects to the PS1 original, and yeah, when I first saw this, that was when I wanted a 1-to-1 remake of the original, but as I've caught on, Square does not always give you what you want or expect. Also, the music, the main theme that plays in the menu is gorgeous, and so is every other music piece. Though the shadows do clip when I play on my device, and I can't ignore that. Because this is a graphically intensive mobile game, here are the system requirements. I'm thinking this is like around the 7 out of 10 range, so I'm going to give it a C. It's good, it's better than I thought it was going to be. The grinding and the issues I discovered with the combat when fighting Reno are big flaws to me, but I was able to enjoy this game. It's great that it will cover the entire Final Fantasy VII universe, but as you can see, I'm personally the most interested in the stuff that is new, and not as much with the stuff that I've already experienced. But I would take this version First Soldier over the Battle Royale, and because of this app, I will finally be able to officially play Before Crisis. I did play a fan remake and did a review of it on my channel if you're interested. I might prefer Ever Crisis Dirge of Cerberus over the PS2 original when it comes out, I don't know. I'll probably revisit this game again to do another review, as this might change a lot in the future with additional content, updates, and whatnot. Thank you all for watching, and if you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends.
and take care.